Hi everyone, it's Daphne from Scrap and Create. Today I'm back to continue working on the Bloom mini album that I started, which is 8.5 by 10.5. And I am on to page 3 right now. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I've got my pieces trimmed and inked the edges, so page 3 should go in pretty quickly. Just like page 2, I'm going to add a strip here. And because I have a pocket on this page, it is actually going to cut in a little bit. So I actually trimmed a little piece off this strip and it's going to fit right there. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with that, and I'm going to lay down this strip first thing. Hope everyone's doing well. It's taken me forever to get this album out. I started it and then I set it aside because we were having supply issues. I don't know what's going on, but Graphic 45 is really having a hard time keeping up with supply these days, and I hope it's not a sign of things to come, but it's been difficult for us to, I didn't want to release the video if we didn't have inventory to sell, if anybody was interested in the collection. So we've been struggling and reprioritizing to get some material out on YouTube, while also keeping, making sure that we had the availability of the material for you guys to purchase. So it's been kind of an interesting few months in that regard. And I'm just turning it on its side a little bit to make sure I'm clear of the spine hinge here so that the page will operate freely, and I am. So that is in, and like I said, I just took a little sliver off. Now the other way around that would have been to lift this pocket up and just tuck it underneath, but I'd already adhered it, so I'm just going to leave it be and trimmed around it. All right, so the next thing is this piece goes in. Of course, I got to get the right orientation, just like so. Let me get some glue and get that down. You may notice that this looks very familiar in terms of the design of the album, and that's because I took the bones from my Princess album and used that as the basis for this album. Now I made a few changes in it, and they really, the changes are on page 4 and 5. I had taken out a couple of the flaps that were part of that original design and simplified it a little bit. Otherwise, the album is pretty much the same. But because I modified it slightly, there is actually a separate video that covers all the flaps and pockets for this album. Okay, and then the next thing is I've got 2 pieces that are going to go in down here. And I've got to decide. I think I want to put it, well, that's a choice. And then the other choice would be this direction. And I think I like the green separating the 2 patterns. So I'm going to lay it down in this direction. And I am going to put down the green strip first. Okay. And this is a pocket here. And when I come back in my last video, I'll have some ephemera matted and placed in the pockets, and I'll probably add embellishments to this page as well. But this video is really just focused on getting the main components down on the base pages. And we'll do some more decorating later. Okay, that's in. And one of the reasons I wanted to put that in first is I wanted to come back and double check the trim on this piece, and it looks like I need to trim off a little bit. So I'm going to do that right now. Take it off the bottom. Okay, let's see, how does that fit? Almost, a little bit more. All right, that looks good. I'm gonna go ahead and lay that down. I need to ink the edge of this, so I'm gonna run to the other room and get my ink, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I've got my paper trimmed and inked. I'm adding some glue, and we'll get this pocket covered. Okay, that's in. All right, so now the next thing I'm going to focus on are these the top pages. And I've got 3 pieces that I'm going to install. This is just a solid piece on top. This one is 2 pieces that come together. So I'm going to do the top one first, just get this on so that it's not floating around. And then I'll come back and do the bottom, or what I call in the Cutlass the extended flap. Okay, I'm going to turn the book over so I can see the top edge here as I'm laying this down. You know what, that's a little tight. I'm actually going to pull that up and trim it a little bit. I think it's not trimmed down quite enough. Let's see how that looks. That's better. That is much better. Okay. I think most of the glue is still tacky, so I'm kind of counting on that. Yeah, I like that better. It's not straight. Not straight. Let's try it this way. Better. Yeah, much better. It's funny how just reorienting it makes such a big difference. Okay, that's in, and then now the 2 pieces down here. So this is going to go up toward the top, and I'm just checking to see if I need to trim this piece down too. No, it looks good. Okay, let's get some glue on it. I try to do all this dry fitting and trimming before I get to you guys, but I don't know. I think something's different about the light in here and where I do a lot of my cutting, and so I can sit with my husband in the evenings. So what I see in the dining room doesn't always transfer into the craft room. Like it would be nice if it did, but it doesn't. So I'm always prepared to do some additional trimming when I actually get to the install. Gosh darn it. It's not cut straight again. So let's see. Okay. It was just not quite square, so I'm squaring it up a little, and that should do it. And it did. Perfect. Okay, that makes me much happier. I don't like it when the border is not consistent all the way down and on both sides. Takes a little extra time, but I think it goes a long way to improving the quality of the album. Okay, and then this piece goes here, and it's a little too big, so I'm going to trim just a tiny, tiny bit off. Check. I don't think I got quite enough off. No. Do a little more. I'm actually going to use a different trimmer. My normal rotary trimmer doesn't trim real skinny pieces like this very well, and I think most people it's the same thing, right? When you go for some of these detail cuts, you actually have to use a different style trimmer. So hopefully that's good. That looks good. I'm going to re-ink my edge. It's not quite straight. Okay, I'm going to glue that down. It looks like the black trailing edge here is not quite square, so I'm going to dry fit the other side and see if it is, and I may come back and trim off a little tiny piece of this after I look at the other side. So you can see it's pretty tight here, and there's a little bit wider here. So when I scored this paper, it probably caused that to shift just a little bit. So I've got two pieces of paper that go on this side, and this is one. And what I want to do is see if I trimmed a little bit off, if I'm going to be okay. And I think I will be. So I'm going to put this in. Okay, that's in. For this little strip down here where it meets, actually I'm going to shift that down a little. Where it meets the hinge, I have used a piece of sticker. So I pre-cut that and laid it down before I came in. So that's where I came up with this piece. And then the last piece is going to be this one. It's going to go inside here. And I'm just double checking, dry fitting, and it looks good. I'm gonna get some glue down, and then that completes page 3. Okay. And I'm gonna hold this toward me so that I can see the top corners, the top edge of the paper, because your eye is almost always drawn to the edge. So that's where I want to make sure my alignment is good. Oops, I need to shift everything up just a bit. Okay, that's in, and that looks pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to flip through real quick. So here's page 3. This is the cover. I'm going to wind up putting a matted piece of ephemera on top, but I'll do that in the next video. So this is how it looks closed. Then it opens. Got this view of the pocket, and it opens again. This is a nice large photo mat. Again, this is the pocket. And it closes. So that is the end of page 3. I'll be back. I'm going to take a break, go dry fit all my page 4 items, and then I'll come back page 4 and 5 and do both of those pages at the same time. So that's all for now. I'll be right back. Okay, I've dry fit and prepared several of the papers that go on page 4 and 5. I do have a couple more papers to dry fit and ink, but I'm going to go ahead and lay down what I have trimmed up. It just makes it so much easier for me if I don't have all these extra papers floating around. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the very inside. So if you open all the flaps on the very base, so there's one flap, two flap, and then right here we have a pocket on the base page. I'm going to go ahead and get this piece laid in, and then I'll cover the pocket, and then I'll go to the other side and do the other side. So I'm going to go back and forth between these two pages, getting them laid out. Let me double check one more time. And so this is going to slide slightly underneath this pocket, just ever so slightly. Trying to get it inside the pocket. There we go. And then I'm going to make sure it's centered. Actually, this needs to go inside the pocket. There we go. There we go. That's in. Nice and simple. Hopefully the other one goes in just as smoothly. Okay, let's shift this over slightly. Double check. My fit. It's right on. Okay, let's get some glue on this and get it down. Got it in slightly inside the pocket. Now I'm just looking to even up the border. And this needs to go down just ever so slightly. Like so. And that's in. That was easy. Okay, now we're going to focus on getting these pieces in over the pockets. Just like so. I'm going to put some glue on this just so it doesn't grab before I'm ready. I actually think I measured it to go this way. I know that seems silly, but it does fit one way better than the other. Okay, that's in. I'm going to do the same thing. Actually, before I do that, let's make sure which direction I'm going to put it on. I think it fits ever so slightly better this way, so this will be the top. just a little bit of excess glue that I'm taking off with my fingernail. My favorite tools. All right, so now I do need to do some more dry fitting for these 2 pages, but I have finished dry fitting for this. So the inside page is going to be this, and then these 2 sheets are cut down just a little short. So I have added these 3/8 inch strips on either side. So that will finish this off. So I just want to remind you all, you know, that we really appreciate you tuning in to watch us on our YouTube channel. And if you like us, please don't forget to hit that like button. And then also share with any of your friends that are in the paper crafting space. We appreciate you guys tuning in to watch us. And of course, if you click that shop button down there, or the www.scrapandcreate, that'll take you directly to our online store. And we do our best to carry a wide selection of Graphic 45. We do have some limited editions of the Prima, which I'm hoping to start carrying more of. And we have, if it's available and still in print, we have Stamperia. We try to carry all the collections that they have. And as well as some staples such as tags and glue and our score tape, which we highly recommend the art glitter glue. It's really reliable. And then also, as far as double-sided tape, our favorite brand and the one we endorse is the score tape. It really holds up. We've got some albums that are in excess of 10 years and the tape has not let go. And I cannot say that about every brand of tape that I've used before. So I highly recommend it. And like I said, it's in our shop, and we appreciate if you guys go there and do some shopping with us. It goes a long way to help us support our channel and our small business. As I've said before, it's our goal to get, you know, relevant content out to you guys as quick as the paper lines get released, assuming we can get the paper back in stock to into our shop. So I don't like to release anything on a collection if we can't make available the same materials that were used in the video. So that's one of the reasons why this bloom is a little later on the release cycle than I would have liked, but c'est la vie. It is what it is. We had the unfortunate bad luck of placing an order with Graphic 45, and the whole order just got lost in transit. So we're way behind. That's actually not quite right. I got to turn this around so I can get better light. So we're behind on getting this collection in stock. Okay. That's much better. Much straighter. There we go. Now it's in. Okay. That's in. I really like the way these two layer together. I think it's so pretty. And then again, I had this little gap here because I was trying to stretch this paper and I only cut it in 6-inch widths. So it was a little shy of what I needed here. And so I've got this little strip and it's 3/8 inch wide. And it will cover that gap just beautifully. A little bit of glue peeking out. So I'm just gonna, there we go. Okay. Again, I need to do some more dry fitting before I'm ready to lay these pieces down, but that is the inside. And then I do have these pieces ready. So this is going to be here, and then these are gonna go on top. And I'm missing one of my papers. Hopefully, huh. Well, I don't know where it went. It might be inside one of the pockets. Sometimes I stash them there so I don't lose them. And as you can see, it's not helping. Well, I'll go ahead and lay down what I have. Oh, here it is. I dropped it on the floor. I've got it. I do have it. Okay. These are going to go on top. That's upside down. Like so. And then these are going to go on the bottom like so. And these are very deep pockets, and it's just like the Princess collection. I'll have a nice deep tag that goes inside. I don't have that cut out yet, but that will be part of the embellishment phase when I mat and trim down the ephemera pieces that are going to go inside all of the pockets throughout the album. And this is going to go inside the pocket as well, just ever so slightly. There we go. Beautiful. Oh, is it beautiful? Oh, I guess I already did trim down the pocket. I didn't realize I was gluing it on that. I thought I was actually gluing it on the on the page. So sorry about that. That's not really what I wanted. I'm gonna have to come back and trim this down again. I'm like, why is that wiggling? Okay, so I lifted that off. So I really want this directly on top of this flap, not on. See, did I do the same thing over here? I guess I took that out of the pocket already. So I'll trim down and make another tag for this later. Doesn't look very pretty, but nobody's gonna see it. I was wondering why I was having such a hard time getting it to line up. It's because it was wiggling, because it was not nailed down. There we go, inside the pocket. There we go. And I just got a little excess glue here. You can always come back later. You don't have to get it off while it's still damp, but I find that it's a little bit easier. So I'm going to go ahead and do this pocket, and I'm going to turn it over. So I need to make sure there's no tag in here, and then also make sure my orientation is right. Okay, there we go. Wow, that didn't want to let go. Okay, now I'm just going to wiggle it up to the top. Make sure my borders are nice and even and they look good to me. Just taking off my extra glue. Okay, that's in. Okay, now the last thing are these two pieces. And then I'm going to take a quick break, go do the dry fit for the inside linings of each one of these. And we'll lay those down. We'll be done with page 4 and 5. I really love this collection. This paper is my favorite. With the blue in it, it's just so pretty. repeat that process. Make sure your words are going in the right direction. Okay, that's it. So like I said, I'll come back in just a few minutes with these pieces to line the inside or the B side of each of the flaps. So I'll be right back. Okay, I've dry fit the inside flaps and I'm ready to go ahead and put those down. I didn't get them inked, so I'm going to go ahead and do that right now while we're together. And then I think I have a little bit more trimming to do on the very top flap, but we'll see when I lay it down. When I went away, I looked at it and I decided I wanted to add another design element to it. So if we decide to do that, I'll need to do a little more trimming. If that's okay. Okay. Go ahead and get some glue down here, and then I am going to turn this sideways. Keeping in mind my orientation. And I like the way this is turning out. I love this collection. I like all their florals. I was just in love with the floral collection that they put out last year. I really love that collection. My only disappointment was that they that it was just a collection pack. They didn't do a patterns and solids pack, so it's a little different, but there was still plenty of solids to work with on reverse sides, but I was kind of disappointed that wasn't like a regular full collection that they've done in the past. It felt more like working with a DCE. All right, that's in, just burnishing around my magnet there. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on page 5. Flip it around. Open it up. There's my beautiful paper. And I'm going to get some glue on here. And that's, it's not necessary. I do it because when I'm trying to line it up, I want to be able to wiggle my paper. And the glue allows me to do that. If I just have tape, it'll grab this paper, and if I start wiggling, it'll tear the paper. And we don't want that. Okay, now I'm going to look across to make sure I have my orientation right. And I do now. And I'll lay this down. Oh, you know what? I just realized I haven't inked this, so I'm going to do that really quick and hopefully get it done before my glue dries. And all I'm really doing is knocking that white edge off. I just do not like the way that looks against my black cardstock. So that's the only thing I'm trying to do. I'm not really trying to distress into the pattern of the paper. Okay. Oops, I almost put it in upside down. Rub it in around the magnet nicely. Okay, so as you can see, we're really making some progress. So this is the inside flaps. And then the last piece we have are the inside of the small flap or thin flap, depending on how you want to state that. And so here's where I was saying, I think I might want to do something different. And so I've got these 2 pieces of paper. So I'm going to do a piecing here. So the question is, do I just want these 2 pieces, or do I want to go ahead and add a piece in between, separating the 2? And that's kind of where I stopped. I was trying to make that decision. And part of making that decision is understanding where it's going to fall, because if it falls across the magnet, I can't do it. And the magnet's really close to the top of the green one here, so I'm not sure I want to do that. I think I'll go ahead and lay it down as I originally planned and not add this trim. Yeah, I'm just going to lay it down the way I'd planned. So I'm going to put the larger of the 2 pieces down first, and then I'm going to come back and trim this down to fit based on this installation. And I do need to ink everything, so it'll just take a second. And I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Oh, in California, my allergies are killing me. So I can't remember if I mentioned it yet, but I'll mention it now. I'm using a bundle, and so the bundle is one of the 12 by 12 collection packs, one of the 8 by 8 collections, a set of the patterns and solids, which is a 12 by 12, the ephemera cards, tags and pockets, and chipboard. And of course the sticker sheets come as part of the collection pack. So that is what's in a bundle. In addition to that, we provide some curated ribbon and charms to go with the collection. So you'll get, like I said, the 12 by 12 patterns and solids, 12 by 12 collection, 8 by 8 collection, ephemera, chipboard, tags and pockets, and then the stickers that come inside the 12 by 12 collection. So you get 7 elements plus some curated charms and ribbon to go with the collection. And if you see it in my video, you'll be getting either that or a similar substitute. So it really kind of depends on when you order. If we run out of a particular charm, we'll substitute it with something else. Equally beautiful. That needs to be trimmed down too, just a smidge. And there it is, now it fits. So I'm gonna ink it and lay it down, and this page will be finished. And this page being page 4. Oh, also, our complete bundles, I failed to mention this, but our complete bundles at our shop, Scrap and Create, ship free. So if you buy a bundle, it will ship to you for free. There we go. Okay, so I'll show you the whole thing real quick. So there's the cover. We're gonna have a nice big, as I started to show you, big tag that slips in here. It opens, there's one page, another page for photo mats, another page, and then a nice pocket here. So it's lovely, lovely. Okay, now we are going to lay this down. Do I have, oh, yeah. I started to freak out. I thought I had the wrong paper because I was looking at the top side and not the B side. Okay, I'm gonna ink it. And again, the top piece I'll have to trim to fit after I get this in. And part of that was because I was still trying to make that design decision about whether or not I was going to split the page with another piece of trim, and I thought it was too busy. So I'm going to stick with just a simple 2 pieces. This is directional. This is not directional, so I don't have to worry about words. Okay, I'm going to turn it sideways so I can see these 3 edges. Okay, that is in. Now we're going to trim this down to fit, and that will conclude page 5. I think it's a little too wide. It is, just barely, and of course a little too long. Let's see how that does. Is that the right width? Still a little too long. Let's see how that is. That's pretty close, so I'm going to go ahead and go with that. And I think I want to trim, I like this house, so I think I'm going to trim off the bottom and not the top. Does that look good? Does. You can see glue all over my fingers. Sorry about that. I'm going to ink it and lay it down, and page 4 and 5 are done. Okay, now that they're finished, I'll walk you through them really quick. So page 4, page 5, these ribbons that are floating around are going to be on the cover, and I'll go over that before I cover them up. There's a thin flap, and then a medium-sized flap here, and then inside on both sides there is a nice pocket. And as part of the embellishment phase, I'll come back and put my tags in here, and then also create something to tuck inside these pockets. Okay, so the next time I come back, we will be off and working on page 6.